Building and growing your audience. So this picture was taken yesterday. Mike's there. You all recognize Mike. And this is at the Bayview Village, Steve in my office and Jessica's office and your office, right? We share this room for anybody. I played around with some of this equipment. We're setting up a podcasting / video production / digital content creation room. And I'll explain sort of the reasoning behind this project. So many of you are getting great traction on your Instagram, on your TikTok, on your YouTube channels, on your whatever that you're building out. And I'm going to talk to you about building and growing your audience and a couple of ideas. In as much as many of you are probably accustomed to sending out a monthly newsletter to your clients using MailChimp, using KV Core now, using anything. But for those of you who aren't building up your audience and growing your audience, how are you communicating to the potential clients that you should be working with and to your existing clients? Is somebody out there who's on your database right now in KV Core listening to somebody else's podcast, watching somebody else's YouTube channel, another realtor? Where's your presence is the question, right? So Hallmark has invested with Steve's approval. I swiped his credit card. No, I'm kidding. We're buying some equipment up. There's a couple of setups that I'm going to teach you over the next couple of weeks of how to do this for free, for low cost, for budget, for mid cost, for high cost. We're working with production companies to give you a couple of options. But the idea is to start to be able to create content, whether it's your podcast, whether it's a YouTube channel, or even if it's just a reel or whatever they call the TikTok things, right? The videos. But you are all free to use this. The production cost depends on which route you want to take. So as I said, next couple of weeks, I'm going to talk to you about apps that help you do this for low cost. You could do this for free if you're using something as simple as Zoom. You use the sound equipment, that's free, but you plug that into your computer, the sound quality is much better. Or you can get middle or high budget, depending on how hardcore you want to go into this. But the whole point of it is building and growing your audience. Right. So I'm happy and I'm offering to help any of you who's willing to put on a show of a YouTube or a podcast or whatever, because sometimes what we've discovered is maybe you'd be great creating this, but you need the prompts. You need somebody who's like in a Q&A interview style. Some of you are great in the monologues, like Marcos did one this morning. Michelle sent me an interview she did with Bilal about the market not crashing and whatnot. Some of you might need that other person on the other side. Like me here, Mike there, we just played around with this a bit. So this is my offer to you, Bayview Village. If you want to put on a couple of episodes, if you want to put on some content, you want to create a podcast, I'll hold your hand and literally take you through. No, I won't be holding your hand while we're doing it, but literally I will guide you through creating this, planning it out so that we put your face and your knowledge and your content in front of your clients. So your clients don't have to watch somebody else's show. I mean, they still can, but it's a shame that you as a knowledgeable Hallmarker don't have something to put in front of their face. I'm going to go through something today, and usually I do slides, but I'm going to try something different today. Usually I put talking points and slides. There are no slides to this entire presentation that I'm about to give, and I'll tell you why. Many of you are great at paying attention and taking notes and doing that, but once slides come, all of a sudden say, you know what, I'm just going to sit back and listen to what he says, and then it doesn't get executed. So here's today's challenge. I'm going to talk about building and growing an audience, all of the different strategies and tactics, but you have to take notes. Yes, that's right. Bayview Village here. You have to literally pull out your phone or computer or a writing pad and take note of what I'm about to say. Why? Because studies have shown that if you're taking notes and you're looking at this information from an iterative point of view where you're having to listen to what I say and put down what it is that you need to implement, you'll learn better, right? So there's no slides for the next 10 minutes. You literally have to listen. Well, I mean, okay, Saeed wants to cheat and record. This is already a recording. So if you want to watch this recording again, that's up to you. You don't have to record this. My point is take out a pen or take out your computer, take out your laptop, take out your phone, listen to what I have to say and take notes so that you internalize the strategy. Sean's listening, as he said there. Okay. So building and growing an audience, why it's important. I mean, you tell me. You have X number of clients, 50, 100, 200, 500. How many of them have you as their top of mind realtor today, last week, next month, a year from now. Today, there's a lot of realtors. Just go to TikTok, download TikTok today and browse through, and go do the real estate hashtag, browse through that, search for realtors. There's plenty of them, right? So guess what? Your clients and your future clients are browsing all of the social media channels, and they're seeing everybody else, maybe you, maybe not you. And so if you're not present on these channels, maybe you're sending a once a month monthly email newsletter, if that. If you're not sending out a monthly email newsletter, you're already in a pretty bad position unless you're really good at being on the phone, contacting your clients all the time, every couple of days, sending them text messages and all that. If you're doing those touch points, great. But if you're not in front of your clients and somebody else is producing a podcast or a YouTube show or whatever, then you're falling behind in terms of being able to build, grow, retain your clientele. And so content marketing is an effective way, not ineffective, is an effective way for real estate agents like us, Hallmarkers, to attract and engage with potential clients, right? Because number one, today, it doesn't cost much for you to be able to build and grow an audience based on the tools that are available to you, right? How easy is it today to set up a YouTube channel? Literally go to YouTube, sign up, create a channel, start shooting something. You're all of a sudden a YouTuber, right? Go to TikTok, start putting up your profile, listen to Jessica's Instagram, put up an Instagram profile, right? So now you can start actually building and growing an audience. That's just the first step, right? Second step is obviously to be intelligent about it, because anybody can, and I've said this before, anybody can just repeat the news. Anybody can just say, oh, here's something that National Post, Globe and Mail, Toronto Star published. I'm just going to read the news. Anybody can do that. What is your take? What's your opinion? Is it right or wrong? Right? Watch what Marco did the other day. He took a video of his open house listing in Pickering, and his point is saying the media is saying the market is crashing, but look what's actually happening in reality. And I told a lot of you that, look, the media is not going to your open houses and to your listings and taking video of all the people that are lined up. What they're doing is they're taking a headline of the market is crashing, or the sales are down, or prices are down, and all that sort of stuff, right? Who's controlling the narrative? As Steve, I myself discussed this before, right? So content marketing, some of you might just have heard about this the first time, right? So what is content marketing? I'm going to ask you guys that question, you guys and gals. What is content marketing to you? What does it mean? Jess knows what it means, so I'm not going to ask her, but type into the chat or unmute yourself and just tell me what content marketing is. Those of you who are doing content marketing, what is content marketing? Say
any information that you put in your emails or advertising that make the client to respond or be curious about it to contact you.
That's right. So any information that you put into your, I'm going to repeat what he said because maybe you didn't hear it on the mic. Any information that you put into your emails or any communication channel that causes your client to engage and to contact you. In fact, that's what it is. Content, creating and sharing valuable content to attract and engage with a target audience, right? It's not about, there you go, Justin. Thank you. It's not about you send out a flyer with your beautiful and handsome face, free home evaluation. Is that content marketing? No, right? It's about talking about something, about current state of the market. It's about sharing a stat and then talking about why it's relevant, and then sharing this information to your potential clients, to a target audience, and then having them engage in it. That's what content marketing is. Why is it different from traditional advertising? Because it focuses on providing value rather than directly promoting a product or service. What does that mean? As I said in the earlier example, you send out a free home evaluation flyer. That's promoting your service. Whereas content marketing is about providing value. And what you're going to notice, if you're stuck with the old school real estate marketing, not that it's not relevant anymore, not that it doesn't work, it still does, but you're finding that you need to do a lot more volume of it to get the same results. Why? Because with content marketing, a lot of realtors, right? And again, realtors are at different experience level, different knowledge level, all that sort of stuff. But with content marketing today, any realtor is able to do it because you can pretty much go onto any channel, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, a blog, Twitter, YouTube. You can come up with, what was that other one called? Clubhouse, right? Was it Clubhouse? Clubhouse, what's it called? Yeah. You can literally go to any channel and then you're the real estate expert. Yes, right, Jessica. So with the proliferation of all of these channels and content and everything, any realtor can become a celebrity in the eyes of the general public. Now it's a competition, not of whether you do it or not. If you're not doing it, you're behind. You're going to fall behind. It's not about whether to do it or not. You should be doing it. It's about how well you can do it. What is the quality of your content? What is the quality of the information that you're sharing? Right? I hope you're taking notes, because many of you are just looking at me right now. I'm hoping you're taking notes and getting ideas. What's the benefit of content marketing for real estate agents? So let me ask you a question now, right? Versus sending out a flyer or a postcard, which these are not bad things. Door knocking, that's not a bad thing. You still have to do these things, phone calls, all that sort of stuff. When you're talking about content marketing, you're creating value, you're disseminating information. What's the benefit of that to you, Hallmarkers? What do you think the benefit is of content marketing?
Chasing, you attract.
Instead of chasing, you attract. So you remember how, like, I'm not going to get into the memes of salespeople and all that stuff. Like, forget about that. Well said. Yeah, just says well said. Exactly same. Instead of chasing, you're attracting, right? It's also about, write this word down, please. Leverage. Leverage. And there you go, Reza. Establishing expertise, authority. Write down leverage. Write down authority, write down trust. I love that. Leverage, authority, and trust. Brand awareness, exactly. Awareness. Leverage, authority, brand awareness, trust. What does leverage mean? If I'm door knocking, how many doors can I knock at a given time? 2, 3, 5, 1, unless I have a door knocking team doing it. I can only ever knock on one door. If I pick up the phone, I can only ever talk to one person at a time. How many of you have tried talking to 2 people at a time? Maybe Said can do it, but I can't, right? When I'm writing a blog post, when I'm creating a video, when I'm creating a TikTok, Instagram reel, when I'm producing a podcast, how many people can I reach at a given time? As many people as will listen to it, right? Simultaneously, I could be asleep at 2 a.m. Sometimes I sleep at 2 a.m. and somebody could be listening to that podcast. Somebody could be watching that video, right? A year from now, somebody could still be watching the video I created today, right? So that's leverage, right? Whereas you can door knock and phone call and doing all that, you still have to do that, but you can only do that as a one-to-one communication. I come up with an idea. My client had this problem. I interview Bilal, like what Michelle did. I interview Rami. I interview Puneet about a legal issue. I can now leverage social media, video, or whatever, blog, or whatever it is that I'm using. And that content will pay for itself several times over, right? Some of the views goes into the hundreds, tens of thousands, millions if you create a good video content, right? 10,000 for Michelle's video, 10,000 views. How long will it take you to door knock 10,000 doors? How long will it take you to pick up the phone and make 10,000 cold calls? How long did it take Michelle and Bilal to do that video?
30 minutes.
30 minutes with a lot of retries. Try door knocking 10,000 times in 30 minutes. Guess what? That's exactly what they did by shooting a video in 30 minutes, putting in it, leveraging a social media channel or a digital channel, and then letting it go, releasing it out there. 10,000 people, individuals listen to this or watch this video. So that's leverage. Trust. Like you trust what I'm talking about. Like I happen to be on the screen or on this video or whatever. Why do you trust what I have to say? I could be making this whole thing up. What's a trust factor here? Right? So there's a lot of different ways to answer that. And what I recommend to all of you as Hallmarkers, as real estate professionals, is make sure you're researching your topic. And this is why I say that any realtor out there from XYZ Realty, can just take the news headline, read it, and then read the article, and blah, 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 call me, right? If you have any real estate questions, you want to sell your house, you want to buy, anybody can do that. What's more difficult and a little bit more advanced level is taking your real estate knowledge, right? Taking Raja's commercial real estate knowledge, for example, and wealth of information, and instead of just repeating the news, he injects some information into it, right? And so that's what all of you should be able to do. And now, how does that build trust and awareness with your brand? Is because you're positioning yourself as an authority. That word was used earlier. An authority is different than a salesperson. Somebody with authority you listen to. Why is it, this is what perplexes me, why is it that when somebody writes something in the Toronto Star, you automatically think, oh yeah, that's legit, that's the facts, right? That must be true. Whereas a realtor who's actually out in the trenches today, experiencing today's market, is getting bashed on. Like, look at Marco's comments on his TikTok, right? I'm not even going to mention what's being said on that, right? But you've got to position yourself as an authority, right? Don't be salesy, right? Don't be just all about the hype. Yeah, the market's doing great. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, buy your house now, sell your house and move on. Every realtor can do that. Every salesperson can do that. Why don't you inject some facts and data and information and reality? So Marco didn't just say, yeah, the market's great. Michelle just didn't say, oh, the market is not crashing. They used information. They used facts, right? So all of you should be researching this, by the way. The daily information that you use for your clients, the daily conversations you're having with your clients come from facts and data and statistics and experience. Some of you, decades of experience, right? So you should be utilizing that and then positioning yourself as an authority. Create yourself as a brand, somebody who knows real estate, right? So I'm not going to toot my own horn, but there's a reason why you're listening to me talking about this, but I could have easily just, picked up a book and just started talking about this. But there's that experience, is that information that I've liked to share and relate to you, and working with you on some of these things, that's what creates an authority. And I don't consider myself an authority on any of this stuff, by the way. What I like to do is research and learn, and then take that information and say, okay, how do we do this? And how do we use this information to learn, to grow, build and grow an audience, right? And so that just that natural love of learning things and utilizing it to help you grow. So for those of you who are in real estate, you're in this business because you're passionate about it, right? I'm pretty sure all of you got into real estate. It's not an easy job. It's not an easy business, right? At times it's 24/7. There's sacrifices you make, family time. I get phone calls at night and I take your calls because, hey, if you guys are working at 8 p.m., 8 a.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., right? We're all on the clock for that time, right? So position yourself as an authority. And it's very easy, right? It's hard, but it's easy. But here's the easy part. All of you face real estate situations and scenarios and challenges and successes every single day. So where's your source of content? From everything you do every single day anyway, right? So I talk about creating videos, creating podcasts, all of that sort of stuff. I talk about Marco's videos that he's creating. What is Marco talking about? Marco's talking about the experience that he's having on his listing and what's going on. And he's sharing that information. All of you have access to content because you are the content. Your experience is the content, your daily, everything that you're working on every single day. Sean, look at Sean's videos, right? Talking about information on the market, talking about his experiences with his clients, right? So the benefit of content marketing is you're building trust, you're building credibility with potential clients. So somebody who doesn't know you, who's not even in your farm area locally, somebody who's maybe in Brampton or Milton or Ajax or Oshawa or whatever, they happen to be on TikTok and they're browsing and then they see this handsome looking gentleman or this beautiful looking lady, but she talks and she's talking about information about the market. It's like, wow, I didn't know that about the real estate market. That's really interesting. And they look at your bio, which is what Jess is going to be talking about with the Instagram course that's coming up. And then they find out about you. What's the cost of getting that person? Like 30 minutes, 1 minute, 1 hour of doing video. Now you're establishing yourself as a brand, as an authority in the industry, generating conversation. We like to use the word leads. I like to use the word conversations. Leads are leads, right? You're trying to get a conversation is what you're trying to do, right? So every piece of content that you're putting out there, every experience you're sharing You want it to spark a conversation with you. And then when that person starts to talk to Jason, starts to talk to Ozzy, starts to talk to Reza, it's about creating that conversation. And, is this person legit? Does this person really know what they're talking about? Or are they just good on video, right? So content marketing is a long-term strategy, can help you build lasting relationships with your target audience. And this is a key here. Anybody can create a flyer today, free home evaluation, copy paste, everything that every realtor has done. There's literally no barrier to entry with that, right? Yes, you have to pay for postcards. Yes, you have to pay for postage. Yes, you have to go to the Canada Post and drop off those flyers in a box. Sure, that takes a bit of effort. But you know what takes a little bit more effort than that is actually coming up with some piece of content that provides valuable information based on your reliable expertise and knowledge and experience. Because not every single realtor out there has the level of experience you do. All of you have different levels of experience, right? So Raja can talk about commercial real estate that I wouldn't even know about. That's what specializes him. And we're going to work on Raja's content marketing strategy so that he can establish his, commercial audience and fan base, right? Every single one of you is at different levels. Every single one of you dealt with a problem last week with a client that you can now share this week in a video. Somebody's going to learn about it and learn how to avoid that situation, or learn how to navigate the market properly because of that. But it's long-term, because when you invest your time and effort into it, it's not something that you just do once and it's over. Yeah, the video you do once and then you can, kind of live off of that for a while. But content marketing is long-term, right? It's not something that you send out a flyer, that's it. Send another flyer and then that's it. You're creating a channel, you're building and growing an audience there, and your intention is to build that over a long-term basis. So unfortunately, if you're going to get into this, the reason the barrier to entry, it is low and high. What I mean by that is, as Sean said, anybody with a phone today, you have this, you're ready to go, right? You want better sound? Come into my Bayview Village office. We have professional sound equipment in there that you can plug your phone into, and you'll sound like you're a professional podcaster all of a sudden. But guess what? Without proper content, without good information and knowledge, then you're just going to be blabbering about something, right? So you've got to have the information, the knowledge that you're going to be able to share, right? Now, in terms of your target audience, yes, every one of you wants that, the next buyer, seller, investor, all of that sort of stuff. But you have to identify who your target audience is in order for you to create content that resonates with them, right? There's this term called, a spray and pray advertising. Like you literally just blow flyers out there and just hope for the best that you're going to get phone calls. Content marketing is a bit different, because if you created generic content for everybody, then you're going to attract nobody. Why? Because when you're watching YouTube, when you're watching your TikTok or Instagram, something resonates with you when it really hits you, either a life situation, a challenge you're facing. So for those of you listening to this, and this is something that's interesting you right now, is because you're looking for some sort of a marketing strategy to help you build and grow your business, right? But if I was being generic with my content, not specific to real estate, not specific to your needs, then this would not be relevant to you if I was just talking about content marketing in general, right? So when you're building up your audience, you've got to create what's called an avatar. Several marketers use this term. An avatar is basically, think of a person, make a person up in your head that's going through a certain situation. How old are they? Where are they living right now? Male or female? What is their challenge? What's their pain point in life? What are they going through right now that you can help them out with? And then when you create your content, it should be directly aimed at them. Now, some of you might be saying, well, why can't I just do generic content, general content, market update, this and that? Because everybody can do that. And when was the last time you, yes, as realtors, wow, it's great, we're doing market updates. When was the last time you watched a market update, aside from Steve's market update, right? Do you enjoy browsing realtors talking about the market all day long? Isn't it much juicier when you're hearing a RICO case about a very specific thing that happened and how to avoid it, right? So same thing with your potential target audience. Somebody right now is living in their parents' basement. Inflation has totally screwed up their budget and finances. They only have maybe $10,000 in the RSP home buyers savings plan, right? They don't know about Bilal and about 812 and their partnership with Arbro and that 20% down payment, 10%, 10%, whatever. They don't know that yet. So what are you doing about it? Are you giving them information about it, right? Somebody right now is going through an unfortunate situation, a divorce or some kind of a conflict, and they have to sell their house and they're totally scared, they're totally lost because many people have not been through a divorce before. What are you doing about it? Are you giving them information about how to guide them through the process, how to make it, I'm not going to say easy for them because it's a tough process to begin with, but what are you doing to be able to hold their hand and guide them through that? That's what your content is about. But you can't be generic with this content. Oh, here's a market update for February. Fantastic. How does that help me? Right? Help me get out of my parents' basement with my 10% down payment because Bilal can help with that other 10%. Now they can put me into a condo. Help me decide between buying a pre-construction and a resale investment condo in today's market. Right? Help me get the most amount of money out of my home. I'm going through this situation. I need to upsize. I need to downsize. I need to right size. Right? Help me sell my home here so I can move out to the East Coast. Todd, are you doing content about buying homes in the East Coast? Right? So there's a ton of these things. Right? So there's a lot of information, but you need to be very specific in identifying your target audience to create content that resonates with them. Because if the content does not resonate with them, then you might as well put out your free home evaluation flyer. Call me for a free home evaluation. Right? And everybody's calling you and wants you to list their home, right? Of course not. Right? Everybody's competing in that space. Anybody can do that. Pick something that you're good at. Talk about something that you've experienced, your clients have experienced. Talk about something that helps somebody. Talk about a pain point that if somebody's listening to this, right, that they'll be able to resonate with that. And of course, over the next couple of weeks with this training, we're also going to talk about how do you structure your content to make it interesting. I try my best to get you guys into these meetings by creating intrigue, by sharing a stat, right? But if I talked about everything in my email that I send out, then there wouldn't be a point of attending this. That's the same thing, like 54 participants. That's pretty high for a snow day today, right? But when you're opening up your content and your video, if you're not creating intrigue, right? If you're not creating, here's how this person dealt with this situation and how you can avoid this. Here's how you can move out of your parents' basement, even with this much down payment because of a program that I can help you out with. Isn't that a much better pitch than buy, sell, rent, invest? By the way, if you have a flyer that says buy, sell, rent, invest, right? Got to get rid of that. Target audience, there's tons of target audiences. Avatars, there's tons of avatars. This is important because yes, all of you want every business in the GTA, no doubt. All of you want everybody. But when you're creating content, please be specific with who you're talking about in that specific moment in time. I'm talking to that young professional who's renting a downtown condo who wants to get into home ownership. What's their pain point? What's their challenge? How do I take them from journey from A to B? How do I get them into a home? I'm talking to that senior person today, elder person, 80 years old, 85 years old. They had to shovel their snow today. They're tired of doing that. In the spring, they're going to start cutting their grass. They're empty nesters, maybe husband, wife, maybe just one of them. I don't know. I want to get that person into the right home for them instead of them having to maintain their home constantly. That content is different from the content of that young professional, right? Anybody can just say buy, sell, rent, invest. But when you're talking to two different avatars, you're talking two different things all of a sudden, right? Luxury home buyers. You can't present the same information to a young professional as somebody buying a $10 million home. It just doesn't work that way, right? So you've got to be clear on who your avatar is. Be clear on who you're speaking with, what their challenge is, what their pain point is, and then being able to take them on that journey. Say, hey, I'm the one who's going to be able to help you out. Let me show you how I can do this for you, right? Now, what's the different types of content you can create, right? We talked about, coming up with your channels, your, who's your avatar. But what are the different kinds of content that you can create? Some of you still write blog posts, and there's nothing wrong with blog posts. It's a written form. Yes, video's taken over. A lot of people would rather watch things, but blog posts are still very relevant in today's market. Some of you do videos, which is great. Some of you do social media posts. So there's a whole ton of different ways of creating content, right? And so there's companies out there, I'm not going to make mention of them, that create what I call canned content. Canned content is literally what it sounds like. You open a can, here's the content, dump it into your social media, right? Yeah, it's great because you get to do social media, but that's not you, right? How do I know Ozzy from canned content that says, whatever it says, right? So when you create your content, make sure you're picking what kind of content it's going to be. What type is it? Is it a blog post? Is it a video? Is it a social media post? Based on that, what's the pain point of the avatar? And then now you create high quality content that allows you to deliver that value to your audience, right? So how do you create high quality audience? How do you create high quality content for your audience? Like, this is something that requires a bit of practice, because you've got to use something that's really eye-catching, something that engages them through the headlines, right? When you're writing a blog post, when you're reading a newspaper, it's the headline that catches your attention, right? The real estate market is crashing. Prices are down 27%, right? So that's why you see a lot of what we call clickbait out there. When you're shooting a video, it's a bit different. Why? Because, yeah, you might put caption on that video, but the very first thing you say is what's going to draw your audience to listen to the next thing you say, and the next thing after that, and the next thing after that. And so when you're writing an article or a blog post, when you're shooting a video, your main goal is from that initial attention-grabbing headline or intro, what makes them listen to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing after that, and the next thing after that, up until the point where you when you presented so much value and information that there's like, this person knows exactly what I'm talking about, or what I'm going through. He's talking about exactly what I want to learn about. How do I reach out to this person now, right? And so that's the importance of providing actionable advice and insight. So again, anybody can talk about the market, but take me through a challenge, help me navigate it, and tell me what you can help me with, right? So that I'm going to be able to reach out to you and say, look, I love your information. I know you're the expert person about this. I trust your authority. Let me connect with you. Let me call you, right? And now you're not, as Said said, you're not chasing clients. Clients are going to be chasing you, right? Now, promoting your content. It's great that you've done your video, your blog post, your social media graphic, and all that sort of stuff, but you still got to work on promoting content, right? Organic way of promoting your content can only bring you so far. You've got to be very particular about how to push that content out. So for example, some of you have a list of 100 people, or 50 people, or 200, or 500 in your database. Let's suppose you have 50 people in your database. You start with them. So let's say you're creating a YouTube channel today. Let's say you're doing a podcast. Let's say you started with your Instagram or your TikTok or whatever it is, doesn't matter, Facebook, Twitter. You start with your existing audience. Some of that audience will grow because of organic means. So somebody happens to find your video that you did, and they start to follow and like you, right? Remember, 100 followers starts with one follower, right? Just like 100 clients and 200 and 500 clients starts with one client. And you're providing value and advice to them and information to them. You help them, you help that channel grow. You help your audience grow. And so you've got 50. Promote your video, promote your podcast, promote your blog post to that 50. Encourage them to send it to friends to share. All of a sudden, they're sharing it with friends. Your 50 becomes 100, becomes 200, becomes 500, so on and so forth. Right? Just follow some of our hallmarkers who are doing this so fantastically, right? And look at their channels. See how many their audience, see how much their audience grows on a consistent basis, right? Now, in terms of being able to measure the success of your content marketing, I hope you're taking a lot of notes on this, right? You've got to look at different metrics. So if you're writing blog posts on a website, you're seeing website traffic. if you're doing, for example, a blog post on whether it's WordPress or you have your own platform, many of you, I've used Google Analytics. It tells me, what did somebody type in to search? What article did they read on my website? How many times did they read that article? How much time are they spending? What lead did I get, or what conversation did I start with that particular article? With your videos, you get to see how many videos. Like Bilal said that Michelle and Bilal's video got 10,000 views. So when you're creating content, you can sort of, it's an ongoing experimentation process. This topic got me this many views. This topic got me that many views, right? So you've got to be looking at these metrics and using it insightfully, because you need to craft your content marketing strategy towards creating engaging content. But if a topic that you talked about didn't do so great, well, maybe that's not a topic that a lot of people are interested in. But try doing something about a down payment plan. Try doing something about how to downsize or right size your home or whatever, right? And then you create the content, you figure out what works, you figure out what doesn't, and you double down on content that does work. Some mistakes to avoid when it comes to content marketing. Write this down. Not identifying your target audience. Again, if you don't know who you're talking to, the content that you create is going to be pretty crappy. It's going to be pretty bad, because then you're doing it just for the sake of doing it. Oh, Johnder said, do video. Johnder said, start a podcast. So I started a podcast and I'm just blabbering on about something. If you don't identify a specific target audience that you're trying to reach, the quality of that content is going to be bad, which brings us to another thing, creating low quality content, right? There's a high barrier to entry in creating good content, low barrier to entry to get into content marketing, but high barrier of entry to create quality content, because you actually have to invest time to do research, right? To be able to understand what your audience's pain points are, challenges are, so that you can find a solution to present to them and create content. Like some of you are camera shy because, like you're not used to being on camera. You're not used to writing 1,000 word, like look at Robert's blogs with stats and charts and commentary. Like many of you are quite not there yet, and that's okay. That's something you work towards. But please don't get into this creating low quality content. You might as well not do it. Stick with your flyers, buy, sell, rent, invest. No, I'm kidding. Invest time to do research. There's nothing worse. Like you go on video, you sound great, fantastic. But if you don't know what you're talking about, watch what happens on that TikTok community. They will roast you, right? So make sure when you're putting content out there, yes, you should have an opinion, but back your opinion up by facts. It's just like going to a listing presentation. Let's say you go to a listing presentation and instead of low quality content, you're doing a low quality CMA. How many of you have done a low quality CMA that literally 10 minutes before the listing presentation, you hop onto Treb and you just, bang out a couple of the, and then your potential seller says, oh, what about that listing over there? You didn't mention that listing. Or what about that sale of my neighbor's home? And then you look like you didn't know what you're doing. Same thing with creating content. Make sure you're researching the information that you're going to be talking about, because if you don't, you're not going to look very smart. You're not going to look like you've got the authority in the real estate space, right? So again, when you're watching somebody on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, when you're reading a blog post, you and I are able to tell who knows what they're talking about and who doesn't know what they're talking about. So don't do low quality content. Neglecting to promote your content. You can have the best content in the world, but if you're not pushing it out there, you're not sharing it with anybody, you're not telling your friends, you're not telling your database about it, you're not sending out a Kaylee Core message about, hey, here's this recent video I did. Michelle, what did she do? Somehow she tagged me in it. Now it's in my stories. Check out my stories today. I pushed that on there. Remax Hallmark's Instagram account. If you tag at Remax Hallmark and you created high quality content, we will repost your content for everybody to see on our page, on our Instagram account, right? So make sure you're conducting market research. You understand your target audience. You're investing in high quality content creation. You're spending time doing the research, and then develop a good promotion strategy. Some of you will have to watch this recording a couple of times, right? And I deliberately did this. Again, I'm not putting key points on slides because you'd be just focused on that. I want you to get ideas from what we're talking about, right? Identify your target audience, create high quality content, and then develop a strategy to promote that content, right? You're door knocking, promote your YouTube channel on a flyer with a QR code that you can use remax.net URL shortener that does QR codes now, so that when they see your flyer, like Saeed's flyer, he can put his YouTube channel on it if he starts to create one. They go onto that QR code, they land on YouTube, they can watch Saeed's videos. That's how you promote your content. So yes, you can use traditional marketing, real estate marketing, such as door knocking, sending out flyers. You should still do that, but promote your social media, your digital channels, your YouTube channel, your podcast, promote that on your traditional marketing. Because the idea here is to earn their interest, engage them, and then to be able to empower them to make a decision to do business with you, right? So to finish off today, I hope you have this. I mean, there's a lot of information. It should have been a training program, not a meeting. So the importance of content marketing is profound for us in our industry, because there is so much narrative. There's so much stories and talk going on out there, especially with a lot of realtors that are just reverberating or rehashing whatever is on the news. And some of them are not doing, many of them actually are not doing a great job. It's your job. You owe it to yourself, to your clients. You owe it to the industry to produce high quality content, to be able to build and grow your audience so that you're influencing the narrative of real estate that's going on out there, right? Always do the right things, obviously, because the thing about marketing and the thing about content creation and the thing about media is it could easily be used for the wrong things. You know that, right? You've seen stuff out there, right? So your job as professional realtors, as hallmarkers, raising the bar, is to be able to use your content as a tool to do good in the industry, to be able to educate everybody out there, to be able to take off this, the narrative that the media is putting out about real estate markets crashing and all that. You're in the trenches. You're doing this on a daily basis. So it's your job to be out there and to put this content and information out there to build up your audience. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your business to be able to do something like this. Right. So I hope this was informative. I know it's a bit longer than I anticipated. I said this would be a 10-minute thing. I think it turned out to be almost an hour. But thank you so much for everybody putting in to the comments. Sean, you put a lot of great comments out there, developing a content strategy. There's a great link there from HubSpot, a content marketing plan. So thanks for sharing that. So anybody have any questions? And Sean, again, another great point. Consistency is the key, right? Thanks, Adam. I appreciate it. Anybody have any questions? Anybody want to share anything about what you've done as far as your content marketing strategies? For those of you who are really great at started out and are doing really great at this, building up your audience. Say, do you want to share something? You want maybe come up here because my mic is no good. I want you to come up here and share something with us.
Good morning, everybody. Just want to share my recent experience with the content creation. I am not a person with a lot of video on YouTube. I'm already starting to work with Johnder, but I regularly send email to my database. And a few days ago, I sent a message to my clients about renewing their mortgage because TD is offering a special rate for renewal and some incentives if somebody wants to renew their mortgage or switch their mortgage to TD. And when I send a email to my database, I got 5 of my clients replied back to me that they want to know more about it and they need some sort of refinancing or personal loan. So this is how I used to engage my database, and I'm working on the video as well. But content is the most important thing. I used to chase a lot for business, but recently, I have decided to just attract people rather than chasing it, because when you chase all the time, you get frustrated, you drain your energy that they are not replying or they don't respond or you don't get the same result. So you have to come up with something that is going to benefit your client, as Johnder said. So this simple email I sent about the TD rate has already engaged 5 of my clients that they are looking for it. Even if they are not there yet, like they are 1 year or 6 months away from the renewal, but it's something that help them see the value in your content and then engage with you and take it from there. So this is my recent experience. And today I got some idea from Johnder that I'm come up with some more content for future emails and video to send to my clients and also start putting them in social media.
Exactly. Thank you so much for
You're
that.
welcome.
Thanks for sharing that, Zaid. And many of you are looking for, what's the source of content? Where can I get content? As we progress in this meeting, I'll share you some more information. But this whole meeting is content to begin with. The RICO cases we talk about, that's content you can share with your clients, believe it or not. The REMAX reports, one of them I'm going to share with you later on, that's content. So I'll show you how you can take one stat from that, turn it into your own video. Right? Steve's market report is content. Interview any of our partners that we work with, interview each other, right? So what I'm offering is if you want to sit down with me in this room here and record a podcast, video, YouTube, or whatever it is, you bring the facts. Again, I'm not going to do all the work for you. You've got to do some of the work as well. But let's do a Q&A. Let's start your own show, right? Even if it's just a one-off video, let's start there, right? We'll go to Sean and then Reza. Sean.
Yeah, so I just want to add to this, and thank you for doing that. And try to create content that's your own. A lot of people try to mimic others or copy what they're doing. I understand that that's good for inspiration, and mix up your content. I hate when I see other businesses, not only realtors, that are only posting houses, open houses. So mix it up. Let people get to know who your personality is. I've been posting content for over a decade with my brand. And what people told me is that I connect with your personality. I understand who you are. It feels like it feels like I know you, even though I never met these followers. So I feel like mix it up. Don't just post about houses and market stats, because to me, that's boring. So let people know who you are. Post about your family, if that's what you like, places that you go to, because you're working with families and people have to see that you're a human. So that's what I feel is best here and what works, because I got a lot of business, not just in real estate, but everything. So.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Sean. For those of you who are not following yet, Sean, search him up on Instagram and TikTok. He makes such great videos. And Sean's comment there, just write this down, be real, right? They don't want a fake realtor, right? Just be who you are, be yourself. If you're funny, be funny, be cash, be cash. If you're informative, if you're about stats and all of that sort of stuff, be that, right? So just be who you are. There's nothing wrong with that, because when they see you on video, or when they see you or they listen to you on your podcast, or they read your article, they're going to fall in love with who you are, right? And if somebody doesn't want to do business because of who you are, then that's fine. Let them move on. Let them find somebody else. That's okay too. Reza, go for it.
Yep. First of all, thank you so much for that's actually this incredible information about that. Actually, I do believe about content, content marketing in the social media, of course, 100% I do believe. But honestly, I cannot, it's not make sense for me for the two just platforms. For the Facebook, Instagrams, or LinkedIn, or the others, some makes sense because they are a little bit targeting the wide area range of the people. But what about the Snapchat and the TikTok? Honestly, when I'm going to surf on that social media, they are only some sort of ages. I asked these questions before in this, for example, about the other people. They said to me, okay, it's going to target the millennial age. I said, millennial age, if you don't have a definition for that, I have, because I'm dealing with them every day in my classes. They are between 9 and 24. 9 and 24, they don't have a money to spend in real estate. If I'm going to target them for the 10 years later, yes, you're right. But I should be funny things. I should do lots of acts in the Snapchat, or I have to do my fake, intention. It's not in my characteristics, or maybe other people. I don't have any idea for that. Maybe you have a positive intention, or maybe Sean has it. Give me that opinion. What is Snapchat and TikTok doing this business? Thank you.
So Ravi, thanks for that point. We defined the millennial generation. That's Gen Z. Millennials, I think, are a bit older than that. I think I fall into the trailing edge of millennial. I'm that old. Know your audience and where your audience is. Meaning, if you're not Hamid doing TikTok, you're not Hamid doing TikTok. If LinkedIn is your audience, then LinkedIn is your audience. I'm not saying don't try to be everywhere. I mean, if that's what you want to do and that's your prerogative, do it. But my main thing is pick one channel where you feel your demographic or the people that is in your avatar is on. If it's Facebook, master Facebook. If it's blog posts, write blog posts. If it's an email newsletter, write an email newsletter, right? If it's YouTube, I mean, YouTube is pretty much all encompassing, but what you'll notice in terms of attention span is like YouTube is good for long content form, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes onward, something like that. Then we started getting into Instagram Reels and TikTok, where the attention span is like 30 seconds to a minute. Like a 3-minute video on TikTok to me is long. Like I'm trying to do my videos within the 1 minute, which is hard to do, right? If you can take a 10-minute video and reduce it to 1 minute, right? That's just the attention span levels of your different audiences. And yes, TikTok is the younger age, but Hamid sold 5 houses from TikTok because he understands who his audience is and who he's reaching out to, but that may not be right for you, Reza. So it really depends, and there's no right or wrong to this. It depends on who your audience is, where they are, and will there be something after TikTok? Of course, there's going to be something after TikTok, right? That my kids are probably going to be using in the future, right? And so you've got to be fluid with this, right? You got to be able to build an audience based on the platform that your demographic, your target audience, your avatar is on, right? So I'm not going to say there's no 80-year-olds on TikTok. There are some 80-year-olds on TikTok, believe it or not, right? But are the majority of them there? Probably not. Where are they? They may be on Facebook, right? So there's a whole bunch of different, and this is part of the research that you have to do. And this is what makes content marketing great and yet at the same time challenging, with a barrier to entry that many realtors probably won't invest the time to do this, which is why you have a competitive advantage. Get to know your audience, where they are, where they're sitting, what their likes, dislikes are, what channel they're on, right? Ravi, do you want to talk on this? So I'm glad that you were able to join us. Ravi's fantastic at content marketing and being able to connect and build relationships. So I'd love to hear a little bit of insight into, to raise this question. And many of you are asking, how do I find people and how do I connect? Ravi, do you have time to be able to chat a bit about that?
Sure. I have one key thing that I do every day. Two, with regards to content marketing. I create content answering questions that are asked to me in my DMs. And then I've said this a few times, don't discount the actual opportunity that lies in all of these platforms to have conversations. So I know that the conversation today is about content marketing, but you should be nurturing leads in your DMs, in your direct messages. So when you create something like Johnder, sometimes you get my messages. I don't know anybody else in the room. Sometimes I'll post something and I'll just send it to 25 people. Like, it's a great day to have a great day, but I'll send it to everybody as well, right? And then all of a sudden you uncover these conversations that elaborate and grow, right? So I think my secret weapon is content marketing to a mass audience is fine, and it's okay for discoverability. But for me, it's all about generating call to action and conversations. The other thing that I think I've battled with in the past, and I think everybody battles with this, I heard a statement from Barbara Brindle and it stuck with me. Perfection is an exercise in procrastination. Put it out there. Don't worry about the camera. Don't worry about the audio. Don't worry about the wind. Don't worry about the lighting. Don't worry about the editing. Don't worry about the captions. Go. And you know what? Your first Instagram reel is not going to be as good as Cash. Like, I saw the one with Drake slapping him and stuff, and I'm like, this is amazing. It's not going to be as quality edited. It's going to convey the message. And then just one more thought that I have. Guys, I really detest the corny shit that all these real estate agents are doing because it's on trend to go viral. You are a professional. And for some reason, we don't understand that architects don't do this, engineers don't do this, lawyers don't do this, paralegals don't do this, but you got real estate agents dancing and pointing like it's good for your brand. And I personally believe it's very bad for your brand. I believe that if you want to be dealt with at a high level and talk about transacting $1 million transactions, don't be gimmicky. I could be wrong, but that's what I think.
Ravi, if I ever do that, you slap me in the face, okay?
Johnder, please don't dance and point.
I won't. I've been tempted to a couple of times, but I won't do it. Thank you so much for your insight. And Ravi brings up a great point because yes, content marketing is designed for mass. One thing Ravi and his team has perfected is that, one to few and one to one communication. So yes, I'm countering a bit of what I said earlier, that one to many thing. But when you look at Ravi's business model, it's this, but then his communication can be this, or this. With content marketing, it doesn't discriminate either in terms of your audience size. I'm not telling you reach everybody like 7 billion, whatever the population of the world is. You don't have to. And the whole point of target audience is pick that target audience, pick that avatar that you want to talk to. And if you only ever want to talk to that one audience, you're going to do a much better job reaching that one audience than somebody with a free market evaluation, buy, sell, rent, invest with me dancing on TikTok. You're going to do a much better job than that person will, right? Because you talking to that specific person's pain points, right? So thanks so much for that, Ravi. And you guys keep doing what you're doing as well. Ozzy, you have a question?
I just wanted to add to what Ravi said. I think, hi, everybody. One thing that I wanted to say about, I have seen Ravi's video quite a few times, some other agents as well. One thing that is, it sat well with me is authenticity of the video and the personality. Some of the agents that you see the videos, you think that they are more into the acting in in comparison to being informative.
Yeah.
Be authentic. Talk about current affairs, current problems, the society's question. People, just like he drives and sometimes he says, oh, I have a thought, and he shares a thought. Why do we need, just like he says, why do we need to act and be perfect? Perfect doesn't sell.
Exactly.
People do not, they cannot feel that you're feeling them when you're perfect.
Exactly.
Because it becomes an act. It becomes a video, and it becomes a movie, and it doesn't sound or feel real.
Exactly.
So this was just something that I felt, and I know everybody is very professional, and I know everybody is doing the best, and some of those videos are very informative, but it lacks the touch. It lacks the touch of you are somebody that could understand me and my problems and my challenges.
Exactly.
So
yeah, be authentic. Thank you so much, Ozzy. And to Ravi's point is that, yeah. So Ravi, do you want to talk about that point or just read it off the chat? So what he said is we're not the hero of this story. We are the guide. Give guidance. It's not about you. Want to add to that? Ravi, go ahead and add to
So I heard this from Giovanni Morisco, who used to be a realtor at his Archangel Summit. And he said, we as realtors or anyone in professional services, the whole goal is to not make it about ourselves, but make it about the guidance that we can offer. And his specific was, we're not Luke Skywalker, we're Obi-Wan. So anybody who's about my age might get that, right? Like, we're the guide. We're helping the hero achieve their goal in this story of buying a home or selling a home. We are not buying a home or selling a home, right? So, when you make it about, hey, look at me, you're really not, achieving the delivering the value to the client.
Exactly. And that's a really great point because, and I'll say it, and let's face it, one of the things about our industry is there's a lot of ego in our industry. We love to see, not we, but yeah, it's great to see us on a billboard, on a flyer, on a video. If you get away with that and make it all about you and your awards and all the stuff that you've accomplished, great, but you're alienating the whole clients that you're trying to reach with to begin with, right? The purpose of that client, exactly to what Ravi's point is saying, is that your job is to guide that person. So don't make it about you, right? Make it about them. And that's exactly what it's about. And in terms of authenticity, I'll share this with you. I'm not going to name names here, but I was meeting with one of our Bayview Village hallmarkers. I don't know if he's on this meeting today, but one of his hesitations to get on video is, I don't speak the language well. I don't present too well, and many of you have this hesitation. Maybe I should do it in my language or this and that. Maybe they think when they watch me that I can't stand up for them, that I can't negotiate for them, that I can't do the right job for them. And so I asked him, how many years of experience do you have? He said, over 10 years of experience. So then I said, how many of the people you dealt with over the past 10 or more years told you that they don't want to do business with you because of these reasons? And what was his answer? 0. So you're creating something in your mind that's saying, oh, this person out there, when they see this video, they're going to hate me. They're not going to want to do business with me anyway. But what you don't realize is when you create that, and when you create that character that doesn't exist, by the way, once you've created that character, the 99.999% of the people that would want to do business with you because of who you are not going to ever hear about you. They're never going to find you, right? We're all guilty of this. I'm guilty of this. I'm thinking, you know what, is what I have to say really relevant? Or is this just, something that's useless out there? And that's prevented me from posting videos sometimes, right? That's a hindrance to all of us. But don't create a character in your head that doesn't exist. And because of that, you're not reaching out to people who you should be attracting. You can't change who you are, right? I mean, of course, well, yeah, you can't change who you are. That's a whole other discussion. But my point being, don't be somebody who you're not. Be authentic, be yourself. And at the end of the day, to Ravi's point again, it's not about you anyway, right? Put yourself out there, but in a position of helping somebody else, not about you. Right. And yeah, I'm not going to do those TikTok dance moves and pointing and all that stuff. Like it's cringe. Please don't do it, especially if you have kids. Like you don't want to be on TikTok and your kids discover you doing that sort of thing. Right. So Hamid says in TikTok, he only speaks Dari or Farsi. Yeah. Do your thing. Do you. Right. If you're thinking of doing multilingual, just remember that when you do that, you're sending signals to who your audience is. Right? If you want to stick with your language, your native tongue, that's fine too. If that's who your audience is, there's nothing wrong with that. But be clear and understand too, that if I'm doing my TikTok channel or Instagram in English and Tagalog to attract Filipinos, somebody's going to say, hey, you know what? He's a Filipino realtor. He talks English and Tagalog. Yeah, he talks English, but maybe he's just trying to attract this particular audience. Right? Make sure that you understand. Right? And yeah, Ravi says Josh Reyes, his wife is a content marketer, successful realtor in Ottawa. Watch his channel as well. He's fantastic at creating his journey about running or being a part of the Ironman, right? And how he's training for it. And so I remember him because of that. So Ravi says his name. I remember him because of it. I happened to meet him at one of our masterminds, which I'll talk to you more about in a moment. But your brand sticks, right? When I watch Ravi's as authentic on his video as he is talking to me. Right? So you've got to be the same way. And many of you have come to me after shooting a video or putting content out there. And some of your prospective people you've never met that become your clients, what they love about you is they say, you're exactly who I thought you'd be based on the video that I watched. And that's what video does. Leverage, you're reaching out many people, that one-to-one interaction, all of a sudden, they know who you are. There's already that trust because you are authentic on that. When I meet Cash, and if I've never met him before, I expect him to be the Cash on there, right? Funny, smart, informative, right? That's what it is, right? So anybody else have any other questions, anything that they'd wish to add to this? I know it's a bit longer than anticipated. I'll zoom through the rest of this if you don't mind, because there's a lot of stuff that I still want to share with you.